Hey everyone, welcome to Module 4. In this module we're going to continue to cover HTML and we're going to finish up some discussion of CSS. Mostly in this module we're going to talk about how to actually use cascading style sheets for layout. And then lastly we're going to talk about this idea called information architecture, which is basically thinking through your site-wide design in a way such that you're leading your viewer or your user to go where they need to go, and you're giving them the best information in the fastest possible way. So that's what this module is going to cover. All of the lectures are relatively short, so they'll be pretty fast. And here is the lecture on continuing HTML. So one of the big things about websites is obviously that the pages are linked together, and so each HTML page links to another HTML page, or links to 50 different pages or whatever. And so the way those links are built is a very simple little line of code. And first off, it starts with what is called an A tag. And so this A tag, you can see right here, starts, has an A, and then at the end it has a caret, a slash, and an A. Okay, in the interim is what makes this link work. So to write it, you would say caret, then an A, then you put a space, then href, or an ahref is what we're going to call it in this class. Then you're going to say the equal sign, and then some quotation marks, and then the actual name of the file that you are trying to link to. So let's say in this case that you are on your index.html page, so you're on your home page, and you're trying to link to your About Me page. This would read aboutme.html, or whatever you named that file. Okay, so then you end the quotes, you put a caret, and what is in black right here is the actual text that is going to show up on your page as the clickable link. So if you were to put this code into your HTML document, you would have a link show up that says name of page, and it would be underlined and look like a link and everything. And when you clicked on it, it would take you to page.html. Okay, there's another set of attributes right here called the relation or the relative. In this case, we set it to external. That's basically a way of telling the browser, hey, this link is not from our site, it's on a different site. We're going to get more into that in the next module as you begin linking to other things. Okay, so links are going to be massively important. They're how you're going to build your navigation system. They're how you are going to have links just built into maybe a paragraph of text where maybe you're linking to ttu.edu or to your hometown's webpage or whatever it is. This is how those links are going to work. So this simple statement right here is really, really important for you to learn. Okay, next, anchors kind of work like links. So links jump between websites or between HTML pages. Anchors jump to specific spots within a web page. So let's say that you're at the top. So in this case, we say table of contents right here, and it's a header 2, so it means it's a pretty large header. And then underneath that, you might have introduction, main characters, and rising action. Okay, then you'll notice we have we have an ahref, so we have an A tag right here, and instead of having intro.html or a link to another page, what we have is the hashtag intro. And what that means is that down further in your text, you're actually going to have a section that is called hashtag intro. And when you do that, when you click on this link up at the top of your page, it's going to take you all the way down to that. Okay, so you could use this to jump to a specified part, and this is what that code would actually look like. So you would have the header again, and you would set the ID equals intro. Okay, so you're saying, hey, this section right here is called intro, and this link right here is going to link to it. So those two things are connected. Okay, same thing for main characters, same thing for rising action. So anchors allow you to jump quickly down a page. This is really useful if you have a lot of information. So let's say you have a resume, and your resume is very, very long and it's really extensive. Maybe you have worked in the industry for 15 years or something like that. You could put a set of links at the top where you could guide your user through the different sections of your resume, so they don't have to scroll through the whole thing. They can just click to your relevant work experience and go straight there. It's also helpful if you do a frequently asked questions page. Let's say that you're building a site for a company and they have a page about the questions that they get asked a lot. And so you might have all of the questions listed at the top, and when you click on a question, it takes you down to the bottom of the page, and that will give you the answer. So anchor tags are really useful for jumping around within a specific web page, and links are really useful for jumping between pages and between websites. Okay, so the next thing you might want to put on your page is a list. Lists are very basic. They allow you to lay out content very easily. There are two types of lists. There are ordered lists, and these can be numbered, they can be lettered. You can set all that up through the CSS, but essentially they are called using the OL tag. So it's caret OL caret, and then this entire thing right here is a gigantic list. These are LIs, and those are list items. So everything that you showed in here, so list item, and list item, would show up within the overall ordered list. Okay, so to add something to the list, you don't just start typing. Every item that you want to go on a separate line has got to go within a list item. So in this case, it would be 1, then you'd have number 2, then you'd have number 3. And whatever text you would want to be shown for that list item, you would want to put right here in between, okay? So the other type of list is probably going to be a little bit more useful to you. It is the unordered list. So unordered lists is basically a way of telling the browser, hey, here's how to present a set of information. It's going to allow you to present either a lot of information really quickly, or this is actually how you're going to build your navigation system. So this is how you would do an unordered list. It's relatively similar to how you would do an ordered list. You'll notice the only difference is this has an unordered list. And what this is going to do is each one of these list items is going to show up as a bullet point on the screen. Okay, so whereas an ordered list has an order to it, meaning you might have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or A, B, C, D, E, whatever. This one, you would just have a bullet. Okay, and you would have a lot of bullets, so just bullet, bullet, bullet. Okay, so that's how you do it. Same idea though, you put in the content right in between the LIs. It's relatively basic. Okay, so lists are really useful though because you can nest a list within another list. So in this case, we have an overall unordered list. It starts here, it ends way down here. Okay, then a list item starts right here, okay, and then it ends all the way down here. Well, what's in between, what is actually making up that list item, is this ordered list. So in this case, think of it as you have 1, 2, 3 bullet points. So 1, 2, 3 bullet points if you follow my mouse. Up here at the top bullet point, it's actually made up of another 1, 2, 3, and this one is an ordered list. So they would say 1, 2, 3. Okay, I call this listception, hence why Leonardo DiCaprio is down in the corner. This is what is going to allow you to make a really complex navigation bar and make it relatively quickly. For your assignment in this module, you're going to have to use lists quite a bit, and so you're going to get comfortable with this. I know it may be overwhelming for now, but it will make sense once you do it a couple times. Okay, so lists are important because, like I've said a couple times, it's basically what a navigation system is. It's a list of all of the different things that you would like people to be able to access quickly. So in this case, some of the items, you might scroll over it and another list of items drops down. Well, that is a nested list. Okay, it's very basic. We're going to have an entire thing all about this idea of nested lists and how to do navigation systems and everything. All of that is going to be a part of this module's assignments. So I'm going to give you a document. You're just going to make a few changes. Hopefully you'll see how it works. It's very, very basic. Okay, so images are the one of the last things that we need to talk about when we talk about everything that you might want to put on a website. So I purposely saved these for the end of this discussion because, quite frankly, images are the easiest way to make your site look great and the easiest way to make your site look awful. If you don't do this right, it can blow up your entire design. If you do it right, it will really bring your entire design together. Okay, so the way you place an image is with what is called an IMG element, and it's just basically IMG, and it starts, and then you have an end after it. This section right here, this SRC, is the source. So if you want to think of it as image source, and you're saying equals, and then whatever file name you put right here is going to be the file name of the image. So if it's, picture of me at the ttuseal.jpg, that had better all be written right here. Okay? Within the IMG element, there are a lot of attributes that you can ascribe. The first one we've already talked about, it's the source, so that is going to be the actual file name. The second one is the height, and that is tied with the third one, which is width. So basically, you can tell the browser to resize an image. Now, we're going to get into this in a later module, but it's actually easier if you go ahead and size the image in Photoshop or another software package to be the size you want it to be, rather than making the browser do the heavy lifting. This fourth one is called the alternate tag. This is really, really important. Alternate tags are what shows up if there's an error. Maybe your photo gets corrupted on the server, or you forget to move it to where you're supposed to, so nothing shows up. This is what shows up. And this is also what is read out by anyone that has a visual impairment. So if you want your site to be accessible, which by law, according to the ADA compliance rules, it has to be accessible, you need to use alt tags. If you do not use alt tags in this class, I will count off every single time you don't do it. It's an easy thing to do. You just say alt, and then you give it the equal sign, and then similar to the source, you say quotes, and then you just write out what you want to show up, and then you end it with the end quotes. It's really, really simple. I'm going to give you an example here in just a second. And then lastly, title. This is what happens when you like scroll your cursor over an image, the title shows up over it. That can be really helpful, particularly if it's a gallery. That I tend to use those a lot more in galleries. So this is what the copy might actually look like in an HTML site for this. So it goes in your body tag, right? Because everything in the body shows up on the screen, nothing in the head actually shows up. And so you have IMG, src, the file you want to call is called sample.jpg. The alternate text is called "this is a sample image for this document," and then there's an end quotes, right? And then you're setting the width to 400 px and the height to 400 px. So you're going to have an image that is 400 pixels by 400 pixels. The image is called sample.jpg, and if it does not show up, or if someone needs a screen reader, it's going to say this is a sample image for this document. Okay, if you have any questions, please feel free to email me. Images and links and lists are really important for what we're doing in this module's assignment, so it's really, really important that you try to nail down these basics so that you can understand how to best utilize them going forward. I would love to talk with you more if you have any questions. All right, see you next time.